Jake commented in and asked, Travis, every time I do kettlebell swings and kettlebell cleans, I feel pain in my lower back. Is this supposed to happen, or is it just because I'm a beginner with kettlebells? Alright, so I want to go over why people experience back pain when they start doing kettlebells. I get this question all the time, asking Travis, I'm experiencing back pain when I'm doing kettlebell swings and snatches. Am I supposed to be feeling back pain? Is that where I'm supposed to be feeling it? Is it just because I'm a beginner? And it's not because you're a beginner, it's because you're doing the movements wrong and you're using some wrong technique, all right? So, main thing is to avoid feeling it in your lower back with any kettlebell movement, we need to make sure we have tension loaded up in our hamstrings and our glutes. All right, if we're not loaded up in the hamstrings and glutes, our lower back is going to start taking the brunt of the work. All right, so what I like to say is tight body head to toe. All right, this isn't hard style, this isn't GS style, it's just my type of style. Just staying nice and tight head to toe, active body, active muscles. All right, keeping the tension in the hamstrings. So for example, with kettlebell swings, boom, we hike it, snap through, staying nice and tight. As my hips come back, boom, I'm loading up my hips, keeping tension in the hamstrings and the glutes. That's going to keep everything else safe. Now, if I lose tension in my hamstrings as I hike back, that's when I'm going to start to experience tension in the lower back, all right? So if I start to round my upper back and I lose tension here, that's where that pressure is going to be felt in the low back. And this can be for other movements as well. So let's go over a press. So we get our kettlebell up here. Now, what I always like to do is make sure your butt's tight when we press. Lock your abs in. Press straight up. Where a lot of people go wrong with these is they're loose here, so no tension in the legs, no tension in the core. They press and they extend their hips forward, and that's where they start to feel the tension in the lower back. So that's another mistake people make with kettlebells, is they don't have that tension in the body. So you always got to make sure lower body is tight, squeezing the glutes, keeping tension in the hamstrings, core is always got to be tight, and that'll help clear up that low back pain that you may be experiencing with different kettlebell movements. All right, so just focus on good technique, keep working on it, and you'll get around that, and you won't experience that back. Kevin asks, how can I work strength with kettlebells if I only have 55-pound kettlebells? What are some of the different ways that we can work strength with kettlebells, specifically when, say, you have only one kettlebell or only a couple kettlebells that go up to a certain weight? So say you maximize the different movements. So for example, your presses have become easy, or your squats have become easy, or even your deadlifts. A couple different things that you can do. Number one, obviously we can make the movement harder by making it strict. All right, so for your presses, if all you're doing is push presses, using your hips to explode, or we're doing jerks, or we're going underneath the weight, still using the hips, you can start working strict presses. All right, and another way with presses that I like to use to help increase the difficulty of the movement is a bottoms-up press, which bottoms-up press is one of my favorite pressing movements. All right, so basically you're taking the kettlebell, boom, it's upside down. That's going to make a 40-pound kettlebell seem a lot heavier than it normally would be with just a normal strict press. All right, so those are a couple different ways with your pressing. Now, if you're talking about squats, getting stronger with your squats. All right, so if we're doing goblet squats, we can take it to the next level. Obviously, going single arm rack squat. All right, that's going to increase the difficulty. But if your squats are getting easy with a single kettlebell, we can go double kettlebell, start working heavier weight that way. But if you're only limited to one kettlebell or even double kettlebells to a certain weight, you want to start working more strength with your lower body, start working your pistol progressions, all right? So ways I like to progress the pistol, obviously you need to get good at doing split squats first. From there, you can go up to a Bulgarian split squat, where your leg is back up on a bench. All right, that's going to take it up to the next level. Then you can start working your pistol squat progressions from there using a box. So I like to use a box where you're going to squat down to a box, start making the box lower, lower, and lower until you're doing free pistol squats with a kettlebell. So obviously you'd want to start off pistol squats goblet style, boom. Then you can start hitting pistol squats with a single rack. And then when you want to really work strength, you start working pistol squats double rack. All right, so those are some different variations that you can use in regards to working strength if you're stuck with a certain amount of weight with kettlebell. And then my last recommendation would obviously be buy a heavier kettlebell. So if you got 50s now, go buy a 60, 70, 80. Keep going up until you get yourself up to the beast, which is your 106-pound kettlebell, your 108-pound kettlebell, and then you're a true freaking badass.